So, Saw X. I thought that this movie, for me, felt like a good gap fill movie. It served as a prequel slash sequel slash who the fuck knows.
I don't know. I think that's a bit dodgy, mate.
I think the timeline, although looks quite confusing, is quite simple, just fits after the first movie, as it serves as sort of Jigsaw going to see if he can get his illness cured, and then to get scammed, and then he basically puts all these people that tried scamming him, in which was a dick move, by the way, of trying to scam somebody who's a known serial killer, then puts them in these traps to try to rehabilitate themselves and redeem themselves for what they have done to many other people like himself, which were tricked into thinking this was some kind of cancer treatment. Instead, that they didn't cure anybody, they lied to people, took their money, and this was Jigsaw's way of getting back to him. It was a very personal one for Jigsaw, I felt, and I feel that not many of the Saw movies have got right up in his face and personal. This one did. I just want to say, guys, before we get into the rest of the video, thanks for the support and the continued support, but anybody that has not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, as we want to get more content out for you guys, and the only way we can do that is with your support, and you can do that right now by supporting the channel by hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button. Let's get back to the video. I know a lot of people love Jigsaw, and from my fan standpoint, I love the character Jigsaw. However, sometimes his moral code can be questionable at times in so many of the films. Did that person really deserve it because they're a junkie? Did that person deserve it because of this? But with this one, there was no qualms about putting these people in these traps, because they needed to learn that what they were doing was completely and utterly wrong. And I think everyone would probably agree that they deserved to be put in those traps. They deserved everything they got because they took advantage of the ill, and most of them weren't alive to tell the tale because they said, oh, we can do this thing that nobody else can do, and we can cure people, and tricked people and scam people into paying hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds on this life-changing treatment, in which just wasn't true. It was all a lie, it was all a trick. And to me, this was one of those times where you think, they could all die for me, because of what they did to a lot of people. They gave people hope and then shut it down. On the traps, I felt there was as brutal as the next one and the previous ones that we've seen in the Saw franchise. Saw through and through, as we saw the likes of the eyeball thing that sucked the eyeballs out of a guy. All he had to do was break every finger on his hands because he was stealing stuff, which was, what a way to start off, by the way. That was like, ooh, that was a tasty one, and you knew it was going to get worse. There was one where a woman had to cut a leg off and then put the blood into a thing to save herself from getting decapitated, in which is, honestly, probably the most gruesome trap out of the lot. We had the woman who had to break her arm and her leg to save herself from getting frazzled in the air by this like heat ray sort of fan thing, which was burning her skin. There was plenty of other traps. And I just love the traps that were in here. They were very unique. They didn't use any that they've used before, I don't think. They've used versions of that before. There was even a guy trying to remove part of his brain and then put it in thing. The traps are what we really watch Saw for. That's the horrific part, and seeing people, if they're strong enough to redeem themselves. It's not the sort of horror franchise that like a Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's more of a fear factor. It's more of a horrific, life-changing experience, and a lot of people can survive this.
Make your choice.
Even though I enjoyed this movie, I don't think they should make more of them. And I'm gonna say that because I think that they've gone as far as they can go. As to me, this was a good gap fill movie, but how many times can you keep gap filling movies in? And a negative point before we get into the ending is that when Amanda came back in this movie, she looked older than she did in the other movies, and they're obviously meant to be based around and before most of her movies, because she's in 1, 2 and 3. This one's meant to be set after Saw 1. How does it work, and how does that plot gap work of Saw, she looks quite young. This one, she looks quite old and looked like she'd had a rough paper round, let's be honest. 2 and 3, where she looks young again. It doesn't make any sense, and I think that bringing her back was a good thing to do, although I think in the wrong circumstances, and in this prequel it sort of worked but it didn't, because her being in it made sense, but her looking older didn't really make sense neither, because that's the problem with the prequel and using original casting. On the ending as such, I didn't think it was like one of the best endings we've seen in the Saw franchise, I must say, and I know a lot of people will hate me for this, but I just think that it was quite predictable. We knew that that Jigsaw was never going to die. John Kramer was never going to die. We knew that because he's going to be in 2 and 3. So that thing of trying to trick us into thinking he could get killed at the end was never a possibility. We always knew he had a backup plan, because in the Saw movies from previously, we always know when shit goes to shit's creek, basically, and it looks like Jigsaw's about to be found out or arrested or something like that, he always has a backup plan. So if you've never seen Saw before, you would have been absolutely amazed with that ending. However, if you've seen the Saw movies like I have, you'll know that there's always a backup plan, and he used his backup plan to basically lure Cecilia and Parker Sears into a trap of his own, because they thought, well, we'll put him in this trap. But he basically tricked them into putting them two in the trap, which was the kid and John Kramer. John Kramer was willing to sacrifice his life because he knew those two would go upstairs for the money. As soon as they went for the money, that's it. The trap ended between John Kramer and the kid, and that's where he went to Schitt's Creek, up in the office area, where it turned into a massive chamber, really. And there was plenty of warnings building up to that, like, don't use the gun, don't use the gun, and that's where Parker Sears grabbed the gun instead of being smart. And obviously something that Jigsaw always says is stick by the rules. That has always been a theme throughout out of all the Saw movies, like, stick to the rules, and obviously he didn't stick to the rules. So in a way, we sort of expected that ending coming to how it did, and we knew Cecilia definitely deserved what she got, as she was evil, callous, did not care, she was money grabbing, she would do anything to get the money back, and you knew her time was going to come where she had to be in a trap of her own, or just be killed in some way, shape or form. And that ending for those characters was perfect. So to summarise Saw X, I thought that this movie acted as a good prequel / sequel / who the fuck knows what it is. And that is the reason why I've rated this a 7.3 out of 10, as it isn't the best Saw movie, but however, it is a damn good installment. Hence why I've rated this movie a 7.3 out of 10 and a world-class film. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it terrible? Is it amazing? Let me know down in the comments down below, please. Also, we have noticed not enough people have been smash that subscribe button. Yes, you guys at home can help us by hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, and let's hit that notification bell so you can be alerted to all the new content that I shall be creating. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Later.